What's up, everybody, and welcome to the HexxedPhenom Gamescast, the show where JP and I bring you the weekly video game news you need to know about. It goes live every Saturday at youtube.com/HexxedPhenom, on the new HexxedPhenom Gamescast YouTube channel, and on podcast services around the globe. I am one of your hosts, Josh, aka HexxedPhenom, and I am joined by the abstract rocker, JP. JP, how you doing, man?
Man, it's going pretty good. It's been quite a day.
Yeah,
it's going pretty good. I'm glad for the day that it's been many downs, but there's been ups, and it seems like we're getting more ups and downs. So we're going, and it's a double XP on Call of Duty.
Oh by God!
Oh by God!
The last one of season 5, season 6. Looking pretty good. I'm excited for the new zombies map. They said that PhD is the last perk for Cold War, but obviously they're not gonna.
We all know double taps in the background.
Yeah, I mean that was leaked a long time ago, so clearly there was work done on it. I really do think at some point they replaced it with death perception and completely scrapped it. Double tap. Maybe if they do a Zombies Chronicles, we'll see that. But GP, what have you been playing this week?
Well, I've been playing a lot of COD, but
yeah,
I'm a man on a mission right now. I currently sit at, I think, like 154. Gotta hit 200 at that Master Prestige because I want to get some old school emblems and stuff like that, just to have not the rock, because I know how they're gonna screw us once the season ends, which is the dumbest idea ever.
Yeah.
Season one, I came out of the gate just swinging. Like, I was doing great. I'm like, hell yeah, we're going to nail these prestige emblems. We're going to rock them. It's going to be great. And that's when I figured out the prestige shop only works by the season. Man, they don't care if you've had it prior. You have to re-get it to use them. And so long story short, season 2, I totally just did not give a fuck. Yeah. I honestly probably went up about 1.5 prestige. But after that, I got back in the game, and here we are chasing it again, just to have fun with the emblems, just to rock on the whole little header profile. So that's my current thing. I've been also doing some NASCAR, and I kind of want to get back on WWE 2K19, and also probably play like Ghostbusters Remaster and all. So I'm getting around. I got a trip to Ohio coming for a brand new store where I work at, so. So I'm not going to be able to game a lot in the next week too much, but yeah, I do have a lot of plans of what I want to do once I get back, and there will be Far Cry 6 and a few other things that come out, so yeah. What have you been playing?
Well, like you said, we've been playing COD together quite a bit.
COD.
Other than that, though, because I think we've talked about COD every single week so far.
God.
Just skip over that, and I'll skip over the Destiny talk as well, because I think I spoke about that on every episode so far.
I think so. Yeah, you were saying, you were going after the expansions, but you had
other than that,
yeah.
Let's see. The 2 games I've been playing the most outside of those, which actually I even haven't touched Destiny that much this week, is I've been playing through Final Fantasy VII Remake. Intergrade, I believe, is the PS5 version or whatever. So I've been playing through the PS5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I platinumed the PS4 version last year when it came out. I loved Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's the only Final Fantasy game that I've really gave a shit about. I never played the original Final Fantasy VII, which I think it's actually on PlayStation Now, the original one. So I might go back and play that, because I know they are very different. As you know, they should be 20 some years apart.
Exactly.
But,
oh man, I remember the originals. Damn, I feel old.
So yeah, I've been playing the PS5 version. Gonna try to platinum it again. I wish I could have just transferred my save over, but whatever. So I've been playing through that, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. And I also just today actually bought the new Hot Wheels Unleashed game, which I'll talk about a little bit later. One of the news stories, we'll talk about it.
I'm actually pretty pumped to hear about it, because it's been a while since I've seen or heard about Hot Wheels. So
it's actually
good.
And I mean, granted, I only played for like maybe 2 hours, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. And the thing is that I am not like super well versed in, previous Hot Wheels games, but I think I've played one before, and it was on the PS2. and maybe I'm just misremembering or something, but it was some weird thing where I think it was based off of some cartoon that was on TV at the time. And the one thing that I think they fucked up with it is that they basically scaled up the world so that they were actually driving, like it was real people, like not real people, but it was people driving real cars. And I think that is not what the appeal of Hot Wheels is.
I was gonna say.
And the thing about Hot Wheels Unleashed is that it knows exactly what it is. Like the cars are specifically designed not to look realistic, but they look exactly like the die-cast model cars, down to like if you flip the car over, you can see like the model numbers on the bottom, and you can see like how on some of the cars, if you flip them over, it's just straight silver on the bottom because they don't paint the bottom of the cars all the time. Or like throughout a race, if you like instead of your traditional car damage model, instead you could see like little scratches and like nicks in the paint, and like you can see like little scratches on the wheels and stuff like that, because obviously the wheels aren't rubber on the cars, they're plastic. So like it's just all the little details like that, and it's just a fun, you know, your fun arcade racing experience. I will say the one thing I'm not super stoked about so far is that progression in terms of unlocking cars feels a little bit slow. So the way it works is I don't know if you would call it a story mode, but like the main single player component is, I don't remember exactly what it's called. It's like, it's probably based on some type of play set, but it's like Hot Wheels something city builder, some kind of bullshit like that. But it's basically like, it kind of honestly looks like those, you know, those like carpets that like that seems like everybody at one time had as a kid, where it's just like all the different like winding roads and buildings and stuff.
Oh yeah, you kind of yeah. Buyers used to have one. You talking like, well, obviously you guys can't see the room we're in, but so in the room we're in currently, so you're talking like it'd be like from one end of the room to the other, and it would probably go to about here, and it's like a whole little thing that has like a school and a city, and I do remember that. Those are good times. You got to rub your car. I play with Hot Wheels on them rugs. It's fun.
So it basically looks like one of those rugs, and then there's different like pathways you go around, and they lead to different quick races or time trials or boss races, or there's like different secrets and things you can find as you go. And each race you get different rewards, like you get coins or gears which you use to unlock or upgrade your cars. And through this story mode, there are some cars that you will unlock just by progressing through these different races, but the majority of the cars you have to obtain through basically this game's version of loot boxes, and there are no microtransactions.
Oh god, that was my next question. I'm like, oh god.
I just feel like the progression is a little too slow on them. Like I feel like you don't earn coins as quickly as I would like, especially because, and the main reason like that the loot box thing pisses me off is that most of the time that you open one, you get stuck getting the exact same car over and over again, or at least I do because I have shitty luck. So I've only been playing the game for like 2 hours, and I've already had like triple, quadruple duplicates of the same car. And I'm like, I don't know how many cars there are in the game. I think it's like 70 or so. And I only have maybe like 9. And I've had like, I've gotten like 4 of the same car already. And I'm like, come on.
I'm like, it's on PS5, which is nice. I'm just
it looks graphically like it literally looks like you've just shrunk down and are sitting on a Hot Wheels track.
I'm pretty stoked. I think I'm gonna add that to my Christmas list because my Christmas list is slowly crumbling with all the games that are
all the games that are getting delayed.
You know, while we're on the topic of car games, so NASCAR 21 Reignition or Ignited or whatever it's called. That's a recent development that gets me very sad because it turns out that instead of 4 series, there's only 1. There's no custom tune-ups. There's a bare bones career mode, and there's no PS5 version. So I totally dropped that from my Christmas list. But now that you're talking about Hot Wheels Unleashed and it looks pretty damn good, I think I'm gonna put that on my list because that looks like something I would love to play. Is it good?
I've been having a lot of fun with it, yeah.
Hell yeah. You know what? I'm going to add that right now.
And plus, it's cheaper than a normal game, so it's only... I don't know if there's difference between PS4 and PS5 versions, but the base version is only $50, so I feel like you can't go wrong with it. But, yeah, I've been having a lot of fun.
Sounds good. I have Back for Blood on my Christmas list, too. I'm not sure if you're interested in getting that, but I'm definitely going to put it on Christmas, so... while we're talking about games on PS5, that will be there, and I'm ready for Back 4 Blood.
I like Left 4 Dead, but I don't know. I got into the beta for Back 4 Blood, but I didn't actually get a chance to play.
Oh, that was my next question. I'm like, hey, it looked really, really good. I just wasn't sure how it panned out because I wasn't the beta or something like that.
Yeah,
I forget. Yeah, so I'm very excited because I love zombie games and first-person shooters, and also very excited for that. But other than that, I guess we'll crack into the news stories, and I'll add this to my Christmas list.
Yeah. Well, since we were just talking about it, let's talk about Hot Wheels Unleashed reviews. So right now, the PS5 version is sitting at a 75 on Metacritic. Generally favorable reviews, it says. So yeah, you have things like IGN Italy gave it an 83, PlayStation Lifestyle gave it an 80, Gaming Bolt gave it an 80, Pure PlayStation gave it an 85. But interestingly enough, I mean, from what I've seen, the highest review that I saw for Hot Wheels Unleashed is okay. Well, apparently we're gonna get an ad. That's cool. Well, that's cool. Thanks, IGN.
I like that. I like that riff. It was pretty crunchy coming in. I liked it a lot.
It was the trailer for the Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Oh my god! My god.
So the most positive review I saw for it was Hot Wheels Unleashed review from IGN.
Holy shit!
So this one's by from Luke Riley over at IGN. I'm gonna skip through most of the, obviously it's a long form review. I'll head down to the verdict. Fun, fast, and damn near photorealistic at times, Hot Wheels Unleashed is a surprising and brilliant arcade racer. Carefully detailed, highly customizable, and buoyantly uncynical, this toy racer defies all expectations with remarkable attention to detail, excellent track design, and an accessible handling model that still rewards high skill. The racing may be tiny, but make no mistake, this game is enormous fun. They gave it, like I said, a 9, I believe. Yeah, they gave it a 9. But generally, like I said, the reviews usually hover between like a 7 and an 8. IGN was definitely an outlier that I saw give it a 9. But I mean, for what it is, just, I feel like not many people had high expectations for this game, so...
I didn't know it was even coming out. I'm pretty stoked because, Derek?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The last Hot Wheels game I played, I'd have to look it up, but I think it's the last game before this, actually. Because I remember he bought the Lego expansion and all this, and you could literally drive around like a Lego town. It was spectacular. I had a blast, and at the time it was I could already tell when the date was for it because Captain Morgan just put out. You know how they have those cannonball things, things. They just put out Loco Nut. It was the first time. It was in the first 2 months that Loco Nut was out because he brought it over. I was at the old house before I got in the current one. And he brought that over, and we drank the whole damn thing and played Hot Wheels the whole night. And I had a blast. So when you brought up Hot Wheels Unleashed, I'm like, well, damn, that sounds like something I would like to play. Good times.
But, yeah, I think if you like arcade racing in general, I think it's a decent one to check out. And obviously, if you're a Hot Wheels fan, you're gonna love just the aesthetic of everything. I mean,
and who didn't have Hot Wheels back in the day?
Yeah,
when they were kids. Who didn't have Hot Wheels?
Exactly.
I had all the city sets and everything. It was always fun.
I just love like the scale of the game because all the tracks are. I mean, the actual like track that you're driving on is like 95%, just your traditional Hot Wheels track, like the orange and blue, like. The Hot Wheels tracks, what they are. But it plays with scale super well because you'll be in like a garage and then you're, driving around like bar stools and shit like on the floor and you can see like off in the distance like it's just like a ginormous TV on the wall and shit.
You remember that game? It was on PS4. I believe it was called Tabletop Racing.
Yeah.
It's a Hot Wheels version of that. I love tabletop racing. If you haven't played it, you should look it up. It's really, really interesting. They have like sushi places and all that. This is more like traditional in a garage and all, but
I'd say it's similar to that. I'd say
It's more probably in a frontal approach because tabletop was mainly like a novelty game. This is Hot Wheels.
Yeah, I would say tabletop definitely played with the environment a little bit more because you were driving on the environment more. Like you're spending majority of your time on like
You're
actual
actually
Hot
on
Wheels sets.
a track.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Every now and then, like you'll drop off a track and drive on the floor for a bit, but
Did
at least
they
on the
have,
couple tracks that I've seen. But
Did
and
they
they have there's a track editor, there's a livery editor,
Oh,
like there's a
cool.
ton of. I'm really interested to see
Nice.
what people come up with the track editor. I haven't delved online at all. I pretty much played the tutorial and I've been working my way through the single player stuff. But yeah, I've been having a ton of fun with it. So,
Oh, yeah.
and they already have at least one expansion planned, I believe, and 2 different like season passes for cars. I guess I don't really know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the last one Derek had 3 expansions and 3 full seasons of content that happened. Like I think each season was like 3 months or something. I don't know, something like that. So yeah, they always have a lot of content planned. So nice.
So I'm definitely interested to see where that goes. And honestly, like, I don't know. I don't remember what studio made the game, but I believe it's their first outing with like Hot Wheels. So I'm hopeful that it sells well enough for them to get a sequel because I really like the groundwork they laid with this game.
Yeah, like I'm glad Hot Wheels is becoming like a big thing again in terms of video games. Hot Wheels, like video games back in the day, were very cheesy, kind of like UFC and all that before like THQ picked them up. Yeah, so at least it's evolving. So I'm really, really excited.
Okay, next we'll move into this story you sent me earlier today. Twisted Metal 2023 likely to be free to play. The free to play title will coincide with the Twisted Metal TV series.
God damn.
This one's by Tom Henderson at DualShockers.
And it's Tom Henderson.
Yeah.
So you know this is more than likely concrete.
If you guys don't know, Tom Henderson is a... I didn't even know that he wrote for DualShockers. I thought he was just some random leaker, honestly.
I was amazed when I saw him on the article. I'm like, oh my god, it's Tom Henderson. It has to
But
be.
he is a very prominent leaker in the industry, and for recently, I mean, he was mostly focused, at least from what I've heard him from, was mostly focused on Call of Duty leaks and whatnot. But I mean, he definitely has his pulse on the industry.
Yep. And yeah, I'll just comment after this article.
So, like I said, this one's by Tom Henderson at DualShockers. A new spout of Twisted Metal news hit the internet this week, courtesy of Andy Robinson at VGC. VGC sources have stated that the Twisted Metal revival has started development by Lucid Games at their UK-based Liverpool studio. If you guys don't know, Lucid is responsible for Destruction All-Stars that came out on the PS5.
What a disaster of a game.
Previous to that, though, they worked on... I mean, I really think that whatever the hell happened with Destruction All-Stars is just a miss. Because, I mean, they've worked on a ton of other, like, prominent stuff before that. Like, they did the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit remaster that just came out somewhat recently.
It's pretty hard to mess up a remaster, but yeah.
They worked on another Need for Speed game, one of the more recent ones. They didn't, like, fully develop it, but they helped with it.
Was it Most Wanted?
No, it was, like, maybe Need for Speed Heat, the one that just came out, or maybe it was the one before that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a sequel, I think, the Most Wanted, or something like that, from what my friends were saying. I think subliminally.
I don't know.
Some kind of tie-in happens. I'm like, oh, cool. Seems like they liked it.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. At the end of, I guess, spoilers for Need for Speed Heat, if you care. But at the end of Need for Speed Heat, someone does steal a BMW that is either designed to look like or is supposed to be the same BMW as the one from Most Wanted. But yeah.
Yep.
But back to the story in hand. So being handled by Lucid, their sources also indicated that the title will be built around a free-to-play model, which is what we've heard at DualShockers with our own independent sources. I broke the news back in August over on my personal Twitter account, stating that the game will release in 2023. It's unclear what the exact plans are for Twisted Metal, but the game is intended to be free to play with an extensive live service, according to our sources. Battle passes have become the norm in recent years, with Lucid Games and PlayStation seemingly looking to add the model to one of its most iconic racing franchises. Twisted Metal director David Jaffe has been very vocal on the Twisted Metal revival rumors as of late, first saying that he'd be, quote, very hurt if the revival rumor is true. However, after VGC's last report, Jaffe has been incredibly vocal about the rumors. Quote, it pisses me off a little, but that's the emotional side of me talking. The truth of the matter is, look, they have a business to run. They're not thinking about me, or if they are, fuck it. I wouldn't change what I'm doing now, and I wouldn't change the way I'm doing it. Jaffe also went on to say, quote, I know things. I know where the bodies are buried. Hell, I know who pulled the trigger before they buried the fucking bodies. I don't know what the fuck that's in reference to.
Well, yeah, is there any more to the article?
There's a little bit more.
Well, see, I'm very concerned about this project because, okay, so David Jaffe's from Eat, Sleep, Play, and he's the one that created Twisted Metal. He is the mastermind behind everything.
And he also director for the first God of War game.
Yeah, he also bridged out to do God of War and all these other successful games. So here's a little history lesson before I give my opinion on this project. So David Jaffe has been involved in every single project except the least successful Twisted Metal games, which is 3 and 4, which were a disaster. Now, the last outing they had, it was a disaster, but it could have been changed, but Sony apparently wanted to push them in a certain direction that it didn't work. And now knowing that Twisted Metal is being rebooted without a remaster of Black or something that people will buy, and it's a free-to-play game, and it's by the people that made the shitty-ass Destruction All-Stars game, it makes me very, very concerned because Jaffe's not on the project, his studio's not on the project, so now we're going into Twisted Metal 3 and 4 territory where they ruined the series and he had to come back with Twisted Metal Black and revive the whole series. So I'm just more so concerned now because it's not only a main base game, which it should have been because people would pay money for it. Now it's a free-to-play game where more than likely there's going to be next to no single player. There's not going to be a story. It's just going to be the characters to suck cash out of people, and it's going to be riddled with microtransactions, and more than likely this game might be dead on arrival. Like I love Twisted Metal so much, it kind of hurts knowing that the same studio behind Destruction All-Stars is making it. Like, they couldn't have gotten Jaffe's studio or anybody else to make it. They had to pull them. I don't know why they did that. I really don't. Like, coming off of Destruction All-Stars, this is probably going to be their next video game, and it's going to come out in 2023, probably early 23, but knowing that this studio literally had a game that was supposed to be a launch title, and then it went free to play, and everybody hated it, and it died, gets me very concerned knowing that they are going to bury the Twisted Metal franchise entirely. But time will tell. I'm just very, very adamant because whenever David Jaffe's not on the project, the series goes completely to the wayside, and I don't know. I coming out of the gates, I don't like what I'm hearing. The Netflix series, I'm very excited to see where they could go. That might, in fact, kill the series, too. So, if they both screw it up, man, Twisted Metal is basically dead unless you remaster Black. That's the only game that would get people to buy hand over fist. You know? Because that, in fact, Twisted Metal Black was not only the best-selling game in the series, that's one of the games that helped sell the PS2 to prominence, and it was the first game to be online. You had to mail in your voucher in June of 2001 to get the online version. Once you bought an adapter, you had to send your receipt, and they'd send you the copy of the game. The Twisted Metal Black broke all these barriers, you know, and now it's like,
just crazy. Like, that's all the fucking hoops we had to jump through just less than 20 years ago, or
get online.
20 years ago to play online. Like, all just that entire fucking tirade you had to get your receipt and send it in and get an adapter, and then you got the online version. You had to verify your purchase. It's just like, now you just fucking turn your system on and it's automatically connected to the internet. Every game has some type of online functionality, whether you like it or not.
And then they try to sell you microtransactions down your throat, and that's what I'm thinking they're going to do with this game, and we'll see when it happens. I'm not going to say they're going to totally fail. They could reignite the series, but personally, the best way to bring Twisted Metal Black or Twisted Metal back was to remaster Twisted Metal Black, because everybody and their mother would literally go hand over fist in money to play this game. Well, yeah, we'll do free to play and shove microtransactions down your throat. We'll get the Destruction All-Star Studio. Yeah, we good. It's like, nah, I don't think so, but I could be proven wrong. I would like to be, because I love Twisted Metal so much. But I don't know, man. Between this and the Netflix series, they might actually kill this series completely.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very interesting for me to hear your opinion on it, because I know that you're a fan of the franchise. Personally, for me, I've never played a Twisted Metal game. I've only ever seen gameplay in passing, like just randomly through like YouTube videos or what have you. So I really have no horse in the race on, whether I think it's, what I think they need to do for this game to be good, whatever. So just looking at it from an outsider's perspective, what I will say is it seems like, and I don't know if this is the actual intention, or maybe I'm being too negative, but it almost seems like, and this hasn't, I don't mean to be like offensive to Lucid, like the studio, but it almost seems like they might be throwing this game out to die, because the one thing that I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, JP, but the one thing that I feel like a lot of people have said about Twisted Metal is that it had, well, I guess it depends on the game, but that it had like a fun, like kind of crazy, quirky, out there story mode. So if you're going to release a game without a story mode, you're losing one of what I feel is
the core value,
is one of the core like pillars of the game. Like, yeah. And I mean, I think Destruction All-Stars would have done a little bit better if it was tied to like the existing franchise of Twisted Metal. But I also feel like you can only have so much fun with just smashing cars over and over again until you're like, okay, well, what are these characters I'm playing as? Why are they here? Like, what's going on?
That's what I'm worried about, because even the games without Jaffe had a story. Sure, they were really, really stupid. Like, okay, so just in case you guys don't know what Twisted Metal is besides car chaos and killing people and mass murder. So, Twisted Metal, basically you have Calypso, who's the man who runs the show. If you win his game, you get any wish you want. You just have to kill everybody else. That's all you have to do. So the story mode is, you go to all these different arenas, eliminate all these people, and you go up through the standing and you win this, and then you get the cutscene for that character, which you unlock exclusive content for them. That was the whole big point. Twisted Metal Black is by far the darkest, most sinister entry into the series. I would highly recommend going to look that up, or just look at the stories, the cinematics, and you'll see exactly how barbaric it is. So if they remastered that, you'd see everybody lining up with their kids, everything, to play this game. So knowing now, and that's why Jaffe's like, I know where they buried the bodies, I know who pulled the trigger, because he's the right hand man to Sony for Twisted Metal. They always got him in his studio because they made money. Always made money. Sure, the last entry on PS3 was underwhelming because they were dealing with a lot of issues and Sony wanted it a certain way. So they had to develop a new idea, and it failed, but it was still Twisted Metal. It just didn't hit the mark. Like, the storyline was amazing. The game core value was very subpar, but it was still Twisted Metal. But now that you're giving it to a studio that flopped their games, besides remasters, which you can't possibly fuck up a remaster. It's happened, and that's how bad studios are. But to hand that off to a studio that just put out a game that was dead on arrival and completely fucking shit the bed, to give them Twisted Metal as a free-to-play game with no core value, no story, just gimmicks and characters and a car carnage mode. Something tells me they are probably going to regret doing that, because I think David Jaffe's studio would have been great to do it, and they probably would have did it. And that's why he was saying I'd be very pissed, and that's why he's very outspoken, because that's
that quote made sense to me about him being very pissed off. The quote where it was just,
I know where they buried. Yeah,
I know where they buried the bodies.
He knows. He knows so much of the insider info, and he's so like attached to Sony Interactive and everything that he literally knows all their darkest secrets, which is why he says, I know where they buried the bodies and I know who pulled the trigger, because he knows all the drama in the game industry, and he cleaned up a lot of the messes for Sony after they fired certain people. So for them to like completely go behind his back and do this in a free-to-play, I have a feeling you're going to see him like go off the rails about the new Twisted Metal game that comes out. He's going to be very, very critical, because I doubt he's in the project, because if he was, he would write the whole damn story.
Yeah.
But they don't want to do that. So you're essentially playing Russian roulette with one of the most popular IPs Sony has ever had as a free-to-play game, with a studio that I'm sure David Jaffe would even say is completely shit. He would come out and be like, you guys got that studio to do my series? Really? So I'm waiting to see him come out with all this after all this news leak, because I'm sure he's going to be throwing bombs at Lucid Dreams, without a doubt.
See, the thing for me is that they have good talent at the studio. Like, I don't know whose decision it was with Destruction All-Stars to make it that model, but I also feel like another thing that hurt Destruction All-Stars was the mixed messaging leading to launch, because it was supposed to be a launch title on day one. It was supposed to be $70.
God.
And then it got delayed by 4 months, or however the hell long it was. And then they were like, oh, and by the way, when it does come out, it'll be free to play. Like, it'll be on PlayStation Plus. We're reimbursing pre-orders. I'm just like, it's like, well, that's a big 180 to go from pay us $70 to this is free. And let me tell you, first of all, if I'm like not mad, but I'm like disappointed that I got that was one of the PS Plus games for free. Could you imagine if somebody paid $70 and got that much content? Yeah. There was no story mode. There was
nothing.
There was a single player like mission mode where you had like 8 missions with one character to do, with one out of the 10 fucking characters. And they were like, oh, we'll do more missions for more characters later. It's like, no. Like, if you're going to have any type of single player content, it needs to all be there at launch. You can't, like, I understand wanting to support your game long term. I get it. But like, well, not only that, but the single player content they put out after launch, they charged for. It was like $10 or something to get like the 8 more missions for the next fucking character. And it's like, fuck off. The entire model of that game was horrible.
I was very
excited.
It
baffles me that they want to do not that it's necessarily going to be handled in the exact same fashion, but to do another free-to-play car combat game with the exact same developer. It does leave a sour taste in your mouth, and regardless of how you look at it. Regardless, like, even for me, like I said, that I don't have an affinity for the franchise, I'm still kind of like, is that really the decision you want to go with? Like,
yeah, I really think, I honestly think they just didn't think this through. I have a feeling the Netflix series is going to be very good. The thing that I'm really worried about is I'm pretty sure David Jaffe's associated with the Netflix series, because he's the storyline writer and he's the head honcho at his studio. But I'm sure he's involved in that because he's talked about it and he's very excited. So I could tell you he's probably writing the story with them, just because he made the characters. He knows the story. He can make you something good. This whole deal with Lucid, I have a feeling you're going to see him probably like completely wreck this game. He's actually like when Twisted Metal 3 and 4 came out, he had his opinions from back in the day. And he's like, this is pretty okay. Oh yeah, it was funny. So they have a story. So Sweet Tooth, for example, in like Twisted Metal 3 or 4. He won the thing, and well, at first they made this whole thing like an outlaw competition. David Jaffe's like, oh, this doesn't sound good, guys, but I'm gonna play it. And he's playing through it, and then at the end, Sweet Tooth, his wish was to eat all the ice cream he wants. And then he got massive brain freeze, and David Jaffe's like, oh my god, they massacred my boy. And I am amazed they even made it to Twisted Metal 4. after how they did it. Rob Zombie was in Twisted Metal 3. That was the whole. Yeah, that sums up where they were thinking with Twisted Metal 3. They did not know what they wanted to do. Everything just fell apart. But
jeez,
yeah, he's sitting there. He's like, "Oh, it's cool. Rob Zombie's in this game. I don't know why the fuck he's here, but all right, we're gonna play as Mr. Zombie." And then he won the thing, and I think his wish was like to play a concert to the undead. And he's like, "Wow, these guys at 343 Studios or whatever, or 981 or whatever that studio was back in the day." He's like, "Wow, these people killed my series." So then that's when they tapped him for Twisted Metal Black and all that stuff that happened after. But something just tells me like I was excited when Destruction All Stars was like the free to play game. It looked really cool. And then when I got on the game, I realized how riddled it was with bugs, and there was no content, and there was nothing to do, and the matches were kind of... Honestly, I remember my exact words, and I don't know if I told you guys or not. I was like, wow, this game's like Twisted Metal meets Grand Theft Auto Arena Wars. And it's just kind of weird knowing that they're making Twisted Metal. I don't know. I can't wait to see
for
David
me,
Jaffe's
it's like
comments.
I literally played the game for maybe like 2 hours the day it came out, and I was like, okay, I don't think I ever need to play this again. I experienced literally all of the content that was there, and that was it. I was like, there's nothing else to do. Like, yeah, I can play multiplayer matches over and over and over and over and over again. There's really no... I felt like you weren't rewarded for playing. Like, you had like a profile level that would level up, and I don't really remember because, like I said, I played it for like 2 hours and then I bounced out. But I don't remember you really earning anything for doing that. Like, I don't know. But I guess as 2023 looms closer, we will talk more about it as more news comes out. But speaking of 2023, GP, a good little segue here. Let's talk about another game coming out in 2023, and that is Marvel Spider-Man 2, which is going to be a fucking fantastic game.
It's going to be fantastic. I like talk about games that are going to look very good. Very good. Sure, I'm not a comic book guy, but damn, I enjoyed me that first game. That was really fucking... I didn't pay a damn dime for it, but man, was it good. Amazing.
I'm technically I paid,
and then you paid for the console, right?
Yeah,
Josh went all in on this.
I already had a PS4 Pro, and when the game was coming out, they announced the special edition Spidey PS4 Pro that was glossy red with the white spider, and I was like, it was like an episode of SpongeBob. I was like, I need it. And so then so I've technically spent, and then plus I got. I was game sharing at the time, so I didn't actually buy the digital version, but I couldn't wait for the console to come in the next day, so I had the digital version preloaded on my PS4 and was playing it, and then as soon as my PS4 Pro showed up, which came with another copy of the game, I unplugged it, set it all up and everything, and then kept playing. And then I ended up letting Tyler borrow that physical copy of the game because I didn't need it because I already had the digital version. And then I think I traded it in at GameStop after that, but whatever. But yeah, so I ended up spending like $400 and some on Spider-Man PS4.
I'm also excited to see how the Wolverine can be because I haven't played Wolverine since the 2003 game, and I can't remember what it was. It was on the GameCube that I rented it on.
But speaking of Marvel Spider-Man 2, Games Radar has the headline, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is, quote, a little darker than the original. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is a little darker than the first game, according to Marvel's creative vice president. This is according to Marvel's creative vice president, Bill Roseman, speaking over the last few days on This Week in Marvel podcast. Quote, if the first Spider-Man game was Star Wars, Spider-Man 2 is kind of our empire, Roseman says on the podcast. If you don't understand Star Wars references, I'll break it down for you.
It's very cheeky.
Basically, there was at the time, it was the first Star Wars movie with A New Hope. Then there was, which ended on mostly a good note. And then there was Empire Strikes Back, which ended on a sour note. So it was a darker movie. It was more about, Darth Vader fucking shit up and, all this other shit. So they're basically saying that this second game, there's going to be some dark, twisted shit happening, which makes sense. That's kind of what you would expect from any sort of Spider-Man storyline involving Venom. So, and I also don't think the first game really shied away from being that dark, anyways.
Yeah, it was more so real. I'm ready to see how dark the stuff gets, especially with Venom. And I heard Carnage might be in the game, maybe DLC.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gets teased somewhere. I mean, if you're introducing one symbiote, I'm sure the others aren't far behind. But, quote, it gets a little darker, the Vice President said. If Marvel Spider-Man 2 is getting darker, as Roseman indicates, then it's certainly recruited the right villain to fit that setting. Insomniac's sequel will see Peter Parker and Miles Morales teaming up as Venom enters the game's world, who will be voiced by none other than Candyman actor Tony Todd.
Oh my god, I am so ready. Oh my god, what? Is he actually the voice of Venom, like, in the movies and all, too? Or is he just...
No, just for the game.
Oh my god, this is going to be so goddamn good. Because he is voicing somebody. God.
I think in the movie, actually, well, the last two Venom movies, Eddie Brock is played by Tom Hardy, but I'm pretty sure Tom Hardy also provides the voice of Venom, too.
This is going to be so good knowing he voices Venom. Oh my god. Wow.
In fact, shortly after his character was first revealed earlier this month in a blockbuster showcase from PlayStation, Todd revealed that the sequel is, quote, massive, which might explain why Marvel Spider-Man 2 carries a release window of 2023. So we're a fair way out from seeing more from the game just yet. When it does arrive, though, Marvel Spider-Man 2 will be a PS5 exclusive. Also unveiled at the aforementioned PlayStation showcase was Marvel's Wolverine, a game also in active development from Insomniac. The Wolverine trailer showed precious little but an Easter egg of the Incredible Hulk, which has already been spotted in the brief trailer, which some have taken to mean will be facing off against the Green Giant in the final game. I don't know if that's true. I think the Easter egg for the Incredible Hulk that was in the trailer, there was like a license plate that said like Hulk like 118 or 181 or something like that. It's the number of the Hulk comic where the Wolverine first debuted. Like that was Wolverine's first appearance in the comics.
I feel like Hulk's going to probably appear in the game, but I don't think you're going to be facing him. I don't know. I'm interested.
I could see him appearing in the game, but I don't think that's like what they were alluding to. I think Insomniac loves to do stuff like that. Like, there's a ton of license plates and just small things in Spider-Man 2018 and Miles Morales, but it'll say like TASM, which is the Amazing Spider-Man, and then like a random number of like referring to some issue of like some big issue of the comics and whatnot. So they're always sprinkling shit in like that everywhere they go with the games. And so, I mean, if what I really hope is the case, and I don't know if it will be, but I would love for Insomniac to be building out their own like Marvel game universe. So I would love if either at the end of Spider-Man 2 or at the end of Wolverine, they kind of like cross over somehow where, I don't know, Spider-Man shows up in Wolverine or vice versa or whatever. Just a little tease at the end.
Maybe in DLC.
But
that'd be kind of cool.
But we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, I'm really fucking excited for this game. I mean, I have so many like predictions and stuff that I could go on and on about for so long. But I just wish it was 2023. I really want to play Spider-Man 2. That's all I want, JP.
Yep, it's going to be definitely interesting, and I'm sure by then the world might have some form from the pandemic, which should definitely help the game industry since you have all the studios kind of, doing their thing and uploading it digitally and trying stuff digitally like we talked about with the mother of all leaks. Yep. Yeah, I'm very excited. Like it's going to be interesting. And I'm sure Marvel Spider-Man 2 is going to be really good. I'm sure Wolverine will be good. I'll be probably just getting it from the guy at GameShare with. You bet your ass I'll be playing it.
But JP, speaking of developers having to do things digitally and stream games over the internet, PlayStation Now leak reveals big upgrade potentially coming soon. This one is from comicbook.com by Tyler Fisher. Sony may make a big upgrade to PlayStation Now, and it may announce and release this upgrade soon.
I'm so ready.
The speculation comes way of a new Sony patent applied for back in April, but only published this month. The patent, dubbed Ultra High Speed Low Latency Network Storage, reveals that Sony has been working on a way to enable the streaming of PS5 games, presumably for the sole purpose of PS Now. As you would expect, the patent is full of technical jargon and doesn't reveal many salient details, but it confirms the obvious. Sony is working on bringing PS5 games to the subscription service. When this work will be fully realized and released remains to be seen, but if the patent is surfacing now, it indicates that the bulk of the work is complete. Quote, non-volatile memory over fabric, NVMe OF, is used to stream video, computer games, and the like to client devices from network storage embodied by solid-state drives, reads the patent's abstract.
Abstract.
Quote, to provide for redundancy, multiple copies of a single piece of content, i.e. a computer game or video file, are stored on multiple SSDs to provide information to address the block level storage based on a client demand for the content. A data structure correlates each content with the SSD and related block number at which the content is stored, yada, yada, yada. Basically, pretty much the only reason that we know that this has anything to do with PS5 games is because of the fact that they're using SSDs. And basically the way that PlayStation works their servers for PlayStation Now is their server blade essentially will just have like, it'll be a server with like, say like 6 of the like chipsets for a particular console that you're trying to stream. So for PS4 games, if you're streaming PS4 games, there's a server sitting there with just like 6 PS4 chipsets that are just ready to stream a game whenever. And that's obviously they have hundreds of thousands of these different fucking server racks just sitting there waiting for games to be streamed. But essentially this patent is essentially just patenting a server rack for like potentially PS5 capable of games.
Which, I mean, I'm sure this is definitely true because I thought they would have done that when the PS5 came out. So, knowing that it's been about a year, I'd say it's probably, I feel like maybe around, wait, when did the PS5 officially release?
November 12th?
Yeah, something tells me you're going to see for the 1 year, they're going to probably pop this up. There's going to be something for the 1 year. I'm still waiting.
I'm assuming it's not going to be like any sort of big games at first. It's going to be like
maybe like
some
a bunch
random
of
like
indies
indie games,
and maybe like 4 big games or maybe 1 exclusive for 3 months.
I could be wrong, but like I don't see them giving away like Miles Morales or Demon Souls or anything like that.
I'm sure they're going to have 1 major game that people are going to shit their pants over.
It might be a third party, honestly.
Yeah, so they're definitely going to be doing something with it, and I'm really just excited. I'm also ready for them to update the UI and for them to do like the XMB and allow you to do folders and sorting, and it's all been worked on just because, you know, there's such a shortage with the console. Why put a lot of effort into all that stuff right now? But something tells me around this holiday season you're going to be seeing a lot of big things pop up just because people can now get more PS5s, and it's becoming a lot more accessible, and now they're developing other models. So yeah, I think we're going to see some really cool stuff soon.
But sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I mean, for me, like, I don't really have any interest in streaming PS5 games. But the idea of them having PS5 games on the service and being able to download them, that gets me excited.
Yep. Streaming is going to be interesting for them, but download you'll definitely be able to do, which is nice. I'm also waiting for PS1 and 2. And some 3, depending. I heard they're working on a lot of things with that. So I guess we'll see.
I really wonder if we'll ever get to the point where we'll be able to download the PS3 games. Because I don't know. From what I understand, like, the cell architecture is so hard to work with that it's probably not even worth their fucking time and money to do it. I don't really know, but yeah. So it's just like, I don't know. I'm excited to see when that finally gets unveiled and stuff. I've been using PlayStation Now for quite a while.
I need to get back on there, actually, now that you mention it. There's a few...
I haven't, like, actually downloaded any games in a while and played them, but I've been using it on and off since the service first started, especially, like, when they first added the feature to be able to download games. That was a big game changer for me. No pun intended.
And, like,
but
the thing is, too, it's like, you pay $60 a year. As long as you play 2 full games a year, you get more than $60 worth, and then there's all the other shit to stream, download. NASCAR Heat 4 I have actually downloaded from PlayStation Now on my PS4.
Well, actually, going back to, I don't remember if I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but when I was saying I was playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, the original Final Fantasy VII is actually on PlayStation Now. So I could go back and play through the original Final Fantasy VII to get a better idea of what the fuck's going on with the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because you would think that they'd be the same, but they're not. They are very fucking different.
Yep.
And I don't know why, but they are.
Yeah, speaking of remakes and remasters, I'm pretty sure we got another little nice piece of information about a well, or we could just slingshot it.
I don't have an article ready. I don't think I need to. It's the worst kept secret in gaming, guys. The GTA trilogy got fucking leaked again. The GTA remastered trilogy.
This one's from the Korea board at this point. But yeah, it's coming.
If you guys don't know, one of the worst kept secrets in gaming right now is that Rockstar is apparently working on a trilogy remaster of the PlayStation 2 Grand Theft Auto games. So that's GTA 3, San Andreas, and Vice City. There was reports of it months ago that it would release along. Well, there's been differing reports. We know it's being worked on. There's been differing reports on whether it'll release alongside the PS5 version of GTA 5 or whether it'll be its own standalone thing. There's been conflicting reports on that.
It's only for PS5, though. It's not PS4, thankfully, because at this point we're being held back. So I'm glad it's PS5. There's no PS4 version of these, apparently.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah,
but
so that's apparently the rumor. So
and then it showed up on that NVIDIA leak we talked about a couple weeks ago. There's been tons of other leaks about it. Now the game has been officially rated by a Korean ratings board. I believe the title of it is GTA Trilogy not reimagined.
I think it's
Deluxe Edition or something like that.
I think it's I think it's the GTA Trilogy Deluxe.
Something like that.
Something, yeah. So it's the rumor, and it should be this way because I'm so tired of PS4 versions of things. Now that you have, apparently the ongoing thing is now that GTA Enhanced and Expanded is coming out for next-gen consoles in March, they're going to charge you a full $70 regardless of if you have the last-gen version of these games because it's a brand new game and they're going to give you a digital code to download this trilogy for next-gen only. And it should be that way.
The definitive edition.
The definitive edition.
Sorry.
Yeah, the definitive. So, realistically, it shouldn't be on PS4. I think that's garbage if it is, because they're holding it back from next gen. Clearly, this was a next gen project, just like Grand Theft Auto, and I'm sure they'll pull the plug on last gen Grand Theft Auto 5 online, probably within 2 years of that release. So it's pretty obvious where it's at, but that's the current rumor that it's only next gen only, and it will release alongside the GTA 5 Enhanced and Expanded, and you will get that as.
I wish I could read German, or I guess this is.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, as I was gonna say, so it's only gonna be next gen, which is great because on PS4 you can get the old version. You don't need the remaster on PS4. It's that defeats the purpose of a remaster, especially where we're at with technology. I mean. Maybe if you're on PC, all right, you could probably, mod that, but you're on a PC.
I don't see anything here that says anything about it just being next gen, or it doesn't say anything about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's the only version that exists right now is PS5, Xbox Series X. There's no record of a PS4 version or Xbox One.
Kotaku learned the collection would be released later this year on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, and Switch and PC, and mobile ports would follow in 2022.
I understand that, though. I mean,
so if it's going to have mobile ports, then there's no way that this is going to be as significant of an upgrade as we think it's going to be.
Okay, well, I guess that's how we're going to get off on it, but like I said, if you're on last gen, you kind of get what you pay for. I mean, you might as well just play the original games because I doubt you're getting anything spectacular out of it. You're not even getting the remaster of Grand Theft Auto because you already have it on PS4. So,
well, I don't even
think.
I really don't even know if the PS5 version will have any crazy enhancements. I mean, it might have a higher frame rate, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But
that's kind of crazy that they're
the
doing
fact that it's going to be on
yeah.
everything makes me think that it's not going to be nearly as big of an upgrade as we thought it would
now
be.
you say Switch and mobile, that's kind of, you could tell they're just trying to get money out of people.
Well, I wouldn't
yeah.
be surprised if the games end up being like, if it is just a remaster instead of a remake, where it's just up-res textures and
They already did that.
a higher resolution, higher frame rate.
I guess.
They already did that, but also how many times have they already, I mean, I don't know. After seeing the expanded and enhanced version of GTA 5, I'm not very confident in Rockstar's ability to do what the fans actually want.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, though, that's only to get you excited for GTA 6. That's the whole point of Enhanced and Expanded, because they're going to...
I would be more excited for GTA 6 if they were actually fucking working on GTA 6 instead of releasing GTA 5 for the 7th time.
I gotta admit, though, I'm excited because I love GTA 5, so I'll pay anything they want for it.
I love GTA 5, too. I would just...
Now...
It doesn't look like as big of a jump as I would want it to, and at this point, if it's not going to be a huge jump like I want it to be, I'd rather just wait for GTA 6. For me personally.
Yeah, as I say, I'm just excited to platinum it again and go on GTA Online. That's gonna be fun.
I'm excited to get screwed out of the platinum again.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I guess I'll have to see how this remaster looks, because honestly, if it's on mobile and Switch, I already know it's probably gonna be shit for the most part. I mean, if it's on Switch and mobile, you already know that there is not a lot of either that, or these versions are gonna be completely downgraded from the PS5, Xbox Series X versions, because there's no way you're going to get the same version on all the consoles. There's no way. Highly doubt it. So, I'm sure when it comes out or gets revealed, we'll unveil it, but I heard that was only a next-gen project, so it's kind of upsetting that it's on all these older consoles. I'm so over. I love the PS4, but, like, you gotta move forward. I mean, like, come on, you already put it out on PS4. Why the hell would you do it again? Like, it's going to get so confusing for people. I can already see it in the store. They'll be like, huh. GTA Definitive Trilogy and GTA. Wait, what the hell was it called?
I think it's just GTA the Trilogy, and then it's GTA the Trilogy Definitive Edition.
What the hell? Yeah, they're gonna confuse so many goddamn people. It's just wow. I'm excited to see it. I just really don't know if it's gonna be what people want then, if it's on all these older consoles. Something tells, especially mobile and Switch. The ports never work on the Switch. It's just...
That's why I think, like, it might not be that big of an upgrade if it's gonna be on the Switch.
Yeah, I'm hoping... I heard their main focus is next-gen, so I'm hoping next-gen has significant changes or something to make you buy a next-gen console.
I really don't think it's going to.
If not, I have the originals, so I really
because I mean
it's
a big undertaking to remake one game, let alone 3. That's why I have a good feeling it might just be like your generic, like, higher resolution, higher frame rate, some texture reworking here and there, maybe messing with the controls a little bit, like, making the shooting feel a little bit more like a modern GTA game. But outside of that, I don't think it's going to be anything super significant. I could be wrong. It's all because and another thing that tips me off to that a little bit is it's also the newest Rockstar studio that they just acquired a couple of years ago is the one working on it. So they haven't, as far as I know, they don't have any experience working on Rockstar games.
If that's how it's going to be, I'm not buying it. You could already tell people are not going to like it then, because they want an actual remaster, like the fan remakes on YouTube. They want full on, and that would be really cool. Yeah, because I know GTA 5 Enhanced and Expanded is just a hold until GTA 6. There's no surprise it's coming in 2025. I mean, it's not coming any sooner. I'm very excited for that for many reasons, just to see like the new hardware and specs. But yeah, it's just, if they're going to put out the same damn trilogy and confuse the hell out of people and just add the definitive edition, something just tells me if it's on last gen and all these other things, I don't think it's going to be worth paying for. I'm not, if that's how it looks. Like, I need to be wowed. I've already played these games all the time. I remember when they came out, so you don't need to really, I don't think they're gonna fool the veteran players. They're not. Like, they already bought the PS4 up-res. They are not going to buy a PS5 version if it's not any different. It's not going to happen. So if they're prepared for that, I guess that's how it's going to be. But yeah, unless they have some crazy bang-up remaster planned, it's not going to go over well with people. If I had to guess. Unless you're new to the series, then you'll get it. But
I almost have a bad feeling that it might end up being like a part 2 of how pissed off people were when they showed the expanded and enhanced trailer.
Yeah, it's basically going to be that, except you're going to be looking at low poly textures that look a little better. Yeah, they might actually fuck this up. People wanted it for so long. I think they're going to fuck it up if it's coming on Switch and mobile. I don't think it's going to be that fucking interesting if they're going on those consoles, let alone PS4. Yeah, that's another one I'm a little worried about now that you mention all that. Yeah, because I heard it was only next gen, and now that it's not, I already know that you're going to see a lot of, probably a lot of setbacks because they're not doing that. Yeah, I guess you get what you get. I already paid for the collection on PS4, so yeah, if it looks exactly the same, it just runs in 60 frames. The hell if I'm going to buy that. Like, I'm sure they're going to charge $50 for it.
I could be wrong, but didn't those games already run in 60 frames or no?
No, they ran at 30.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they run
for
at
those games.
Yeah, they run at 60, and it's up-res now to HD resolution. That's the only difference. Other than that, they added trophies. So that's why they're really in a corner. Like, unless this game is like something like cream of the crop from where it was up-res to the collection on PS4, I'm already telling you right now, unless people didn't get it before, they are going to completely bitch about it. But we'll see. When it gets unveiled or something, we'll talk about it more. But yeah, I'm a little crushed knowing it's not a next-gen exclusive. I already know it's going to be held back entirely now.
I honestly didn't expect it to be a next-gen exclusive anyways, given
it's been so long.
All Take-Two's parent company, or all Rockstar's parent company cares about is money, 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 money.
Oh, they're going to get what they want this time. Going to get a mouth of war from people.
I mean, they already have been with expanded and enhanced, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I like how it looks. I know people bitch, but it's not GT6, and you're not getting it till 2025, so might as well play something upgraded, you know.
All right. Next story, PlayStation officially acquires Blue Point Games. Next game planned to be an original, not a remake.
Oh, yeah.
This one's by Jonathan Dornbush over at IGN. The Demon's Souls and Shadow of the Colossus remake devs are venturing into original territory as PlayStation acquires them. If you guys don't know, well, there's an interesting wrinkle to this story, which is back in, I think, like April, or I think it was April, PlayStation acquired another studio called Housemarque, which are the developers of Returnal, which is their PS5 game that came out around that time, like February, March. They also made, I could be wrong. I think they made like the Super Stardust HD and like those games.
Oh God.
And so they acquired them, but when they put out the tweets for it, Sony or PlayStation's Japan Twitter account put out a completely different picture that said it's something about PlayStation officially acquiring Blue Point Games and not Housemarque. And then they deleted it and then put up the right image. So pretty much we've known this has been coming for months now. It was just a matter of when are they officially going to announce it. And turns out that yesterday was the day. So, Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced yet another studio acquisition of Blue Point Games, the developers of the Shadow of the Colossus remake on PS4, and most recently the PS5 remake of Demon's Souls. This is my own thing I'm adding in, but they also worked on Uncharted the Nathan Drake collection. They worked on... what else? I'm trying to think. There's another big one that I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah. Blue Point and PlayStation have worked closely together for years, but the news comes after the studio's latest successful release. As Sony confirmed, Demon's Souls has sold more than 1.4 million copies since release. IGN spoke with PlayStation Studios' Herman Holst and Blue Point president Marco Thrush to learn more about the acquisition, PlayStation's overall studio strategy, and about how Blue Point is steeped in PlayStation remaster and remake expertise and wants to explore its own ideas. So I'm not going to read through all this because it's definitely
Novel.
a lengthy article. Go check it out if you care about all of it. But I'd say the big points are that Bluepoint wants to make original games, and that they confirm that their next game will be their own original game, which kind of puts the rumors to bed that, because it's been rumored for, God, I can't remember how long, that Bluepoint was working on either a Metal Gear Solid remake or a Silent Hills remake, which I don't know where those rumors were coming from, really. I think they, from how it seems that Konami's been handling things recently, it seems like those were just rumors started just to feel hype. Something, basically.
Clout.
And so, like, I don't know. But, yeah, so people were thinking that they were working on either a Metal Gear Solid game or a Silent Hills game, which clearly does not seem to be the case. I mean, I guess they could still be working on it, but their next game that they release is going to be an original game. So,
well, at least that's good.
But let's see. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the biggest one. It's just that PlayStation acquired another new studio. That's, I believe, their third acquisition this year. Let's see. Yeah, fourth acquisition this year. They've also acquired Firesprite, Nixxes, and Housemarque, which Firesprite and Nixxes are definitely smaller scale ones,
yeah,
but...
I was gonna say. Well, during the pandemic's a pretty good time to acquire studios because they're all out of money. Like, it's pretty easy just to get studios. Just be like, oh yeah, if you sign on, we'll fund your games.
I don't even think it's the pandemic necessarily. I think
they're all just going broke.
A lot of them are going broke because it's so expensive to make games now. So it's acquisition season in the games industry. I mean, I don't know how much longer it's going to last, but I feel like we'll see a lot more games a lot more developers being acquired, not necessarily by like PlayStation or Xbox, but even just like smaller studios getting picked up by other publishers, like whether it be Activision or what have you. But yeah. So, and I forgot to pull up an article on it, but let me see if I can find it real quick. There was updates to the Activision lawsuits. Let me see if I can find...
Oh my god, there was an update to it. Oh boy.
To try to stall time. Basically,
I just want to throw it out there that it's the first day of spooky season. Michael Myers.
Beautiful.
Beautiful segue.
But basically, from what I saw, Activision settled one of the lawsuits that they had against them, which was, I think, the one from the federal government. They settled outside of court. I don't know what that does for the lawsuit they have still pending with the state of California. Yeah, here it is. This one's by Michael McWhorter at Polygon. Activision Blizzard sued by U.S. Employment Commission agrees to $18 million settlement, which is basically just pocket change for them anyways. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission filed a complaint against Activision Blizzard on Monday, alleging that the video game publisher subjected employees to sexual harassment, pregnancy discrimination, and or related retaliations. The EEOC's complaint notes that its investigation into Activision Blizzard began in September 2018. The commission alleges that in its complaint that some employees complained about the sexual harassment, and that Activision Blizzard, quote, knew or should have known about these complaints, but that the company, quote, failed to take corrective and preventative measures. Once defendants knew or should have known of the sexual harassment, they failed to take prompt and effective remedial action reasonably calculated to end the harassment, end quote. The EEOC's lawsuit is separate from a similar complaint filed by California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing. Following the filing, Activision Blizzard announced that it had reached an agreement with the commission to settle claims and to further strengthen policies and programs to prevent harassment and discrimination in the company's workplace. As part of that agreement, Activision Blizzard said it is committed to create an $18 million fund to, quote, compensate and make amends to eligible claimants. Quote, money not used to compensate claimants will go to, quote, charities that advance women in the gaming industry or promote awareness around harassment and gender equality issues, as well as company diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives as approved by the EEOC, the game publisher said.
Nice.
And then it kind of just goes on to kind of recap everything so far. California's DFEH sued Activision in July, alleging the company fostered a frat boy workplace culture. And then it goes on to say
term.
Activision Blizzard shareholders filed a separate lawsuit in August alleging that negligent leadership damaged share prices. Activision Blizzard is also being investigated by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, excuse me, which is looking into how the company has handled employee allegations of workplace discrimination, sexual harassment, and sexual misconduct. Bobby Kotick, Activision Blizzard's CEO, said in a news release last week that the company is, quote, engaging with regulators, including the EEOC and the National Labor Relations Board, which accused the company of violating federal labor law in yet another complaint, with the goal of improving its workplace policies and procedures and ensuring compliance. So they settled one of their lawsuits, and it sounds like they're still dealing with like 2 or 3 other ones.
As they settled one. Yeah.
Which
definitely going.
I can't keep track of all of them, but I think that means that Bobby Kotick might not be subpoenaed anymore. I don't really know. I can't keep track of all the different places that were suing them and whatnot. So maybe we'll still have to see Bobby Kotick take the stand, but that's really all I want from this.
I would like for him to get canned.
As I want to see him try to justify all this bullshit, because there's no way he hasn't known about this shit.
No, he definitely knows. It's his world. He should definitely know what happens. If not, he's not responsible.
If not, then he's a garbage town CEO.
Yep. He's white trash at its finest.
But we've been going pretty long on the tooth here, so let's get into our final news story real quick. Kratos voice actor Christopher Judge says he is the reason God of War Ragnarok was delayed.
I've seen that flown around. I didn't read the article because I don't play the God of War games, but I'm curious to see the reason why he's the reason why it was delayed.
This one is by Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. Let's jump right into it. Christopher Judge, and before I get into it, actually, this was such a weird way for this news to be distributed, because I don't know if you know what happened, but basically just randomly,
Life is Strange has a new fucking game out.
Oh yeah, Life is Strange True Colors.
Oh,
but basically,
damn.
So Christopher Judge just randomly goes on a Twitter rant, I guess, and not to judge Christopher. Okay, well, first of all, no pun intended, but not to judge Christopher Judge too harshly. But instead of making this all one Twitter thread, he made them all separate tweets, so it's very hard to keep track of all of them. But he just tweeted out 10, 15 tweets about all this information about, that he was the reason that it was delayed and all this other stuff, and about how Sony Santa Monica is a great studio and how they, do all this crap to better, all this other, that they're so much better than any studio that he's worked with in the past, whether that be TV or movies or whatever. But we'll get into it. I'm sure it's probably mostly covered in this article. So, Christopher Judge, the voice behind Kratos in 2018's God of War and the upcoming sequel, has said that his surgery was the reason that God of War Ragnarok was delayed from its original 2021 release window. Judge shared this story on Twitter following God of War being crowned as the champion of IGN's best video game of all time bracket. Nice little way for IGN to fucking slip themselves into this fucking story. He quote tweeted a tweet from God of War's engineering lead, Jeet Schroff, that was responding to the victory. He then continued to thank the fans and send love to the God of War family. Quote, thank you to all the fans, not just the God of War, but the gaming community, Judge wrote. All of our games have been a lifeline during these difficult times. To my God of War family, I will never be shy about telling you how much I love all of you. We will continue to laugh, cry, and be great. An hour later, he revealed the news that God of War Ragnarok, which was revealed at the September 2020 PlayStation 5 showcase with a release window of 2021, was delayed to 2022 because of him. Quote, 100% in my feels right now, Judge continued. Quote, I need to be forthcoming. This has been approved by no one. To the beloved fandom, Ragnarok was delayed because of me. August 2019, I couldn't walk. Had to have back surgery, both hips replaced, and knee surgery.
Holy crap.
They waited for me to rehab. Quote, no threats, no who do you think you are, nothing but love and support. And at Sony Santa Monica has never said a word about the delay and what caused it. Studios are assholes, but this company from top to bottom should give us hope. Quote, what they did for the crew is way more that I can't talk about, but I've said to all involved, it is the classiest thing that I've ever heard about in this business. Everyone involved in the God of War franchise puts their hearts and souls in every frame you see. I want to thank everyone that has allowed me to play and laugh and love and cry without judgment, but with unconditional support and love in this thing of all of ours. Judge ended by also revealing that he quit after he was told that Cory Barlog would not be directing the sequel and that Eric Williams would be taking his place. However, Barlog quickly eased his worry, and Judge would go on to realize that Eric Williams is a motherfucking beast. Quote, last thing, Barlog told me at Tribeca that he wouldn't be directing the sequel, Judge said.
That's great.
Quote, I quit. No joke. He said, do you trust me? Yes. He said, Eric is a beast. I said, he better be. Update, Eric Williams is a motherfucking beast. Barlog responded to Judge's tweets by saying, quote, would walk through 1,000 fires for you, my friend. As if that wasn't enough, he also included a gif of the Lord of the Rings Aragorn saying, you have my sword. So, a very interesting way to get this news out there, and I can't for the life of me tell if this was like some weird like marketing thing or if it really was just Christopher Judge just tweeting on his own and, you know, with no care from Sony PR or anything like that. Because I mean, under normal circumstances, like you would expect to see this, you know, these tweets deleted after like Sony PR got word of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wonder if it was planned or if they were just like, whatever, like, you know, leave it up, like who cares? But
some good PR.
Yeah.
I can't see why they'd be pissed about that, really. Usually people don't do that. So. Yeah, I think it's a good exception to that rule.
But yeah, like it's crazy to think that, and I mean that makes sense though, because if he couldn't walk, that's how many months you have to figure he couldn't do any motion capture. So it makes sense why the game would have to be delayed because of that.
I love how they have all that stuff done. I'm like, holy shit, this man was literally just... That's just crazy how he went through all that, the hips and
Christopher Judge is a fucking beast. He's fucking crazy. But, like, I mean, I guess in a way it's like, kind of goes to show that if you garner enough goodwill amongst your fans, that you can have the leeway from PlayStation to delay the game for an undetermined amount of time.
Because you know it's going to
sell. Because of the given situation. And it's like, sure, that's also just like human decency. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that too. Yeah,
which I mean, granted, like the thing that sucks is not, you know, it's business. Like they don't always have room for fucking human decency. Like that's not, you know, when they're writing off expense reports to make this game, they're not, you know, setting like $500,000 off for human decency. It's just like
Christopher Judge, human decency.
Like I'm sure they lost a lot of fucking money having to delay the game, but they did it because their lead actor needed them to, and there was no like, and I mean realistically too, that they could have, if they really wanted to, if they, you know, they could have just had Christopher Judge still voice Kratos and just brought in a body double.
Yeah. For
however that amount of time or whatever. That's while he was rehabbing.
Yeah.
But they were like, no, you know, like take the time you need. Like we need you at 1,000%. Like you are Kratos. Like you need to be in these scenes. And I'm sure the game will end up being a ton better for it, because that's the difference between having to have Christopher Judge in a booth talking to himself or being on the mocap stage talking to Atreus and all the other characters around them. And, you know, that emotion that you get from that is definitely way better than sitting in a booth talking to yourself. So,
hey, Chris. How you doing, Chris? Pretty good. Sitting there talking to himself. Yeah. I think it's going to be definitely a lot better just because you'll have, like, the interaction, and yeah, it'll definitely be better than just sitting in a booth talking to yourself, yeah. So I think it'll definitely... Boy.
Read it, boy.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm not in the God of War, but...
I wasn't really into God of War too much until 2018. And I feel like... I mean, I know that God of War, the older games, do have a pretty big, like, ravenous fan base, but I think God of War 2018 really launched it into the stratosphere in terms of popularity and cultural significance and all that. So, you know, I'm glad they... you know, obviously brought Christopher Judge back and all those characters, and apparently, well, I guess it's not apparently, they're saying that this will be the end of the Norse saga for God of War, so I guess they're deciding to only do 2 instead of stretching it out to do a trilogy, which, I mean, if they feel they can get, put the story together they need for just 2 games, then I'm all for it. And they also teased, in God of War 2018, they teased the possibility of also delving into Celtic mythology and Egyptian mythology. So I think it'd be pretty dope to see a fucking God of War game in Egypt or Ireland or something. So
Ireland title.
But yeah,
it should be cool. Definitely excited to see where the game goes.
Holy. But just to close off on that, I think it's a really cool thing that they did. And I mean, I guess probably, and I mean, I don't know, I'm not trying to downplay it or anything, but they probably also could have seen the tea leaves of like, well, realistically, we might have to delay this game at some point anyways. So, I mean, they probably already have money set aside for that.
I was going to say, they probably already premeditated a delay was happening, but then when that
especially
happened,
with the pandemic going on, they probably have money set aside to be like, yeah, like this is what we're planning, but things can go to shit real easy. So we'll set this money aside just in case the game has to be delayed as like, future funding or whatever. But I mean, regardless, waiting for him to rehab for months is, I think, a great thing. I think it goes to show how much that this crew of, developers and directors and actors and everyone that worked on God of War 2018, I think it really shows the amount of respect and stuff they have for each other, which is, I mean, definitely been evident for a while now. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, I definitely 100% recommend watching the Raising Kratos documentary that PlayStation put out after God of War 2018 came out. It is a great look back on all of the trials and tribulations they went through when making the game. And I mean, it's evident that they are all a tight-knit family, whether that be the actors, the directors, the devs, everyone involved. So
should be good.
Yeah, I'm excited for God of War Ragnarok, and like I said, I think the game is going to be better for this delay because not only did they obviously have time to let Christopher Judge rehab and everything, but that was also a couple extra months that they had to just work on the game. So, but guys, let us know what you thought in the comments down below. If you're on YouTube, if you're on your podcast service, you probably can't do that.
Probably can't do that. But hey, at least you see it or hear it or something. So at least there's many forms to see it in, which is always good.
But, guys, this has been episode 4 of the HexxedPhenom Gamescast, the show where JP and I bring you the video game news you need to know about each and every week. And I still haven't come up with a new outro yet.
It's getting there.
But, guys, until next time, Phenom out.